Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Rough Night. Rough Night is the latest R-rated female-centric comedy to come out of Hollywood over the last few years. Bridesmaids really launched this new craze, and it's been hit or miss, just like every other kind of raunchy R-rated comedy. Imagine that. But I wasn't really impressed with the trailers for Rough Night, and I heard from friends and a host of others that it seemed eerily similar to Very Bad Things, a 1998 film starring Jon Favreau. I haven't personally seen that film, so I can't speak to the correlations, but heading into the release, all of this made me a bit nervous to watch this movie. I'm happy to say that it surpassed my expectations, but I'm sad to say that still doesn't mean it's a great film. So let's go ahead and start off with the positives. First of all, I think our cast is great in this film. Scarlett Johansson really plays her role well. I think she looked gorgeous in this movie. She has nice comedic chops, but she also felt really genuine and sincere, like an actual human being. Kate McKinnon is so good at just creating comedy with her face, with those big ol' eyes and her facial expressions, and she does that perfectly in this film. I think most of her comedic moments come from just reaction shots with her. It's not even what's coming out of her mouth. And then we had Jillian Bell, who I think was the comedic all-star for me personally. She got the most laughs out of me, and as usual, she was just game for pretty much whatever they threw at her, and she really delivered with all of the comedy that she was tasked with. And the most important criteria when judging a comedy, in my opinion, is one simple question. Did it make you laugh? Was it funny? And in this case, the answer is yes. I actually laughed a lot more than I was anticipating. The film got off to a really rocky start. But once we started rolling, it got some really good laughs out of me, which was kind of shocking. This is one of those comedies where they just keep throwing the kitchen sink at the wall. So it's kind of one of those situations where you're bound to laugh at something, and a lot of it just doesn't stick, it doesn't work. But when it does hit a funny joke or a funny gag, it's pretty freaking funny. And my last main positive is that I love the way they treat sexuality in this film. There is a great bisexual character in this movie, and again, nothing is really called to her sexuality. She doesn't make a big deal out of being lesbian or straight or bi or what is she. She just kind of hops from a relationship with a woman to a man, and I thought it was fantastic. And it seemed genuine and authentic to the character, and you never felt like, oh, is she just going back in the closet? No, she felt like a bisexual person, and I thought that was fantastic. And then we had an open relationship, which was a little less well handled, but it was just a very open sexual type of film, and I think that's always a positive when we can kind of push out our viewpoint when it comes to sexuality and kind of open up the spectrum in which we view things. I think it's always somewhat of a positive, right? But there are also quite a few negatives when it comes to Rough Night. And the one big negative is just that the story is ridiculous. The story is such a mess. You already know it's going to be a mess because it's about a group of women who kill a stripper and then don't know what to do. So, sounds like a mess right off the bat. But there are just so many inconsistencies, there's so many ridiculous things. These women are just so incompetent at the simplest of tasks to figure out what to do that you kind of just roll your eyes at them. Sometimes you're not even rooting for them because they're too dumb to root for. And the movie just falls into tropes, like when there's a gun at play, instead of, picking up the gun and completely disposing of it, or, I don't know, holding it because there's somebody in here you might need to use it against, they just, push it away. They have, scenarios where they're trying to dispose of the body, but they do it, right there in the shallows of the ocean. It's really? And then there's a scenario where a guy has pants, socks, and shoes on, and then the next time we see this man, he doesn't have, anything except underwear on. We're given an explanation for the pants, but doesn't really account for the socks and shoes. So it's just weird little inconsistencies that happen throughout the film. And then we get to that ending, and I mean, it's a complete cop-out, weak ending. And it all just feels cheap. I mean, there are relationships that get pretty heavily broken, and oh well, we're all good now. The film just takes the cheap way out on literally every single avenue that has been opened throughout the film, and that was just a pretty big disappointment to end on. Plus, there is a side story with Scarlett Johansson's character's fiance, and I kind of found it insufferable. He's supposed to have his own comedic bits throughout the entire film, and they just were kind of annoying to me, and I wish we didn't have to keep focusing back in on that at all. I wish we would have just gotten his interactions with like him and his friends at his bachelor party, because once he makes a plan for things, it's so annoying, and I dreaded every time they went back to him. Also, for an R-rated female-centric comedy, that central plotline revolves around a male stripper, we actually don't get a striptease from anybody. So I think I'd count that as a negative. So overall, if you're just looking for a movie that's going to make you laugh and you can turn your brain off and just have a good old dumb fun time, Rough Night serves that exact purpose. But if you're looking for a more sophisticated comedy, a comedy that has a good script, a comedy that actually develops out all characters and plot lines, Rough Night falls short. Way short on that front. So I'm going to kind of cut the difference and give this a matinee, because again, it exceeded my expectations, but it doesn't mean it's actually a good film. So I think it'll serve you well. Get a group of friends together, go laugh in the theater at a matinee price. So that has been my review of Rough Night. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below, and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Rough Night? And what is your favorite raunchy, R-rated, female-centric comedy? Let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!